I'm suicidal. I'm suicidal. 9 months earlier, I'm at the top of my game. Professionally, personally, I had no problems, and yet 9 months later, I'm suicidal. Good morning, 9:05 on ABC Radio Newcastle through the Hunter Valley. It's great to have your company, and I'll be with you through until midday today. I'm Craig Hamilton, and this is my story. In the year 2000, I was 37 years of age. Life was good, and then I started to slip into a depression. It was the hardest thing I'd ever faced in my life. It's the most challenging time I'd ever faced. It just kept getting worse.
When I first heard Craig's story, I remember I wept because he was so open and vulnerable. And I think Craig's power lies in the way that he shares his story with saying he wasn't okay.
Hamo's story is a great story, right, because it's a success story. What he did is he flipped a terrible situation in his life where he was rock bottom, peeled himself way back to the core and rebuilt himself to the best of his ability. And through doing that process, now he's leading a life that's giving hope, he's connecting with other people, he's evolved himself, he's a better person.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Craig Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Chris, after that introduction. Even I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say tonight. So I'm on a train station. I can still recall these events so clearly, even though I was just so mentally unwell, it wasn't funny. What do you got? Oh, I've got a bloke on the train station. He's about mid-30s, he'd weigh about 85 kilos, he's storming up and down the station, he's out of control, he's abusing people. Mental health crisis said, too hard for us, call the police. So the police arrive. Paddy wagons over there on the left-hand side. 4 uniformed police hop out. And I'm thinking, well, they're not here to see me because I haven't done anything wrong. It soon became apparent they were there to see me because they formed a semicircle and I was the only one in it. And then very professionally, they try to put me in the truck. I resist. And I have a scrap with the police. So I'm put in the truck, handcuffed, and off to the James Fletcher Psych Hospital. So I got a long way to get back from there. I'm admitted to the hospital and very quickly diagnosed with bipolar 1 disorder. All the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle came together.
Bipolar disorder is a bit of a tricky one, I guess, because people experience both the depression or the lows as well as the very highs of mania in the one disorder.
The emotional pain was so great that I felt that I could be better off not here. How do I manage this every day? I could barely function. And when you are severely depressed, that's what happens. That's what happens.
What does depression look like to me? I've experienced postnatal depression. It was like there was a pane of glass between me and the rest of the world.
It just drains you of everything you've got.
Depression is really closely associated with suicidal thinking and behaviour. That's a real concern. In about 70% of people with bipolar disorder will also experience feelings and thoughts of suicide.
You'd get home, behind closed doors, you'd get into your safe space, lock the doors, on the floor. Nothing left. That's where I was.
And to the outside world, it looked like he had it all together all of the time, and he didn't.
You've got a picture here of a bloke who's basically got his life together. He's got his dream job, he's got a great family, great friends, no money worries. Externally, no reason to be depressed, yet I was. And I was suicidally depressed, and it was only at that time that I got some help.
So what should someone do when they're at their lowest point? What I think is important is to realise that you're not alone. The time will pass. Often it can be difficult to think in that rational, clear way when you are in the depths of depression. But what I believe is important to do is to reach out to someone, to actually talk to someone.
What it is time is to start that journey on learning about it, what you got, understanding it, and connecting.
I didn't let them see there was a problem. And 99% of people who have acute mental illness don't want anyone to see it either. No one wants to be mentally ill. We still don't want to be mentally ill. It's not a ticket that you want, but it's the way you cope with it and the way you manage it is one of the great lessons I've learned. Tell me I'm garbage, I'm going through something, that's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. A bow and affection, I summon and dub it. I think it's really important for everyone to find something. Someone who has struggled at times with anxiety or depression, this is the best thing I've ever done. And my mental health wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for doing stuff like this, and so I do it.
It's essential to know that there are small things you can do that can make a difference, because when you're not well, everything feels insurmountable. But just do one small thing. And that one small thing, I believe, can make a massive difference to your life.
But I got an email from a bloke in Western Australia, and he just said, look, I read your book 12 months ago. He said, because of your book, my two sons have a father today.
It's so important and so powerful for people like Craig, when they feel like they are able to do so and they're at a good place within themselves, to be able to turn that lived experience into good information and good support and good advocacy for the thousands and thousands of other Australians who are in that same boat.
He blazed a trail for that and went through hell and back to do it. But that knowledge gained, he's filtered it into a book. His presentations and his talks and the way he's going around the communities of Australia doing his stuff is just a great story. If that's not what it's pretty close to all about, I'm not here.
Why do I do it? I get asked that all the time. The one why for me, the thing that drives me, if you like, is an experience that I had at a radio station. A man rang up the station when I was on, and this fella said, that's me. He said, I've got all those symptoms. I've been like that for 5 years. I've been suicidal 6 or 7 times. My wife doesn't know, my kids don't know, my mates don't know, my employer doesn't know. And the producer said, as soon as Craig comes off the radio, he'll talk to you. And this bloke said, I can't do that, it's too hard, and he hung up. Now, the next night at the speaking engagement, I was just down the front, I'd finished speaking, and there was a girl who would have been about 16. She had tears still on her cheeks, and she came over to where I was standing, and I just said, I can see you upset and you've done it pretty hard here tonight. Are you depressed? Are you experiencing depression? And she said, no. She said, I'm fine, I don't have depression. She said, I only came here tonight to say thank you, because the man that rang your radio station yesterday was my father. And the moment he got off the phone, he told Mum that he had depression, and he told all of us. Because I now know, and have known for a long time, that one conversation can change a life, and one conversation can save a life. You just have to open the door. And so that's my why. That's why I do what I do.